All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tribute to mothers. You understand me? Mother's Day is right around the corner, so I wanted people to realize, you know what I mean, that hey, you have to appreciate your mothers. A lot of times we take our mothers for granted, especially younger people don't appreciate their mothers like you do when you're older. But you better appreciate your mothers now, because they will not be with you forever, and we have to face reality of the situation as well. You know what I'm saying? Give your mother her flowers now. Don't wait till it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Really, I would say see her and appreciate her more than just Mother's Day. Mother's Day is an imperative time to wake you up, to make you realize that, hey, you have a mother. You know what I mean? Be there with her, appreciate her, show her love now. You see? You know, don't wait till it's too late. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I say this, it's a wake-up call to me, because when I was in my late 30s, I had a girlfriend, and she told me I was running all around, you know what I mean, with her, going to different people's, seeing different people's mothers and different people on Mother's Day. And she told me, she said, look, why do you go see your mother? Why aren't you seeing your mother, you know? My mother was living and everything, living well in Oakland, and we were in Sacramento. So what I did, I told her, well, my mother's in Oakland, you know, and this and that. And I wasn't really, you know, on going to see her, because I know my sister, you know, and them, they, you know, my one sister was, you know, being, you know, possessive as far as spending time with my mother. So I said, well, if you want to go, she said, yes. She said, look, you only got one mother. You need to see your mother now while she's living, because I don't have my mother, but I want to make sure you go see yours. She went to the store, spent $100 on flowers, balloons, and candy. Went to my mother's, took that to my mother's. Went there, you understand me? My mother was so happy to see me. She had, and then my girlfriend had combed her hair and did all this good stuff. My mother was so happy. And come to find out, none of my sisters or nobody else had came to see my mother. So it was a blessing that I did go see her, because it made an impact, you know what I'm saying? And I was so grateful and so thankful that I did that. And I was in my late 30s. Because prior to that, I never would worry about Mother's Day, because I generally would be out of town, or I'd be somewhere. You know, I wouldn't put no emphasis on Mother's Day. But after that particular day, that one Mother's Day changed my whole life, as far as, you know, thinking about mothers while they're here, instead of waiting until they're not here, taking them for granted, you know what I mean, and not being there and spending time with them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If it's Mother's Day coming up, if you can't be with them, you call them up. If you can't call them up, you be there. If you can't be there, say if you're incarcerated, you send her a card. You send her a letter. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the circumstances is. You make sure you connect with your mother on Mother's Day, if not no other day. Because first of all, that day brings attention to mothers. So you need to honor that day if you don't do it no other time. But I specifically would say spend time and appreciate your mother all the time, whenever you can. Because like I said before, you only get one mother. You actually only get one father. And your parents, you should look up and respect them and show appreciation for them. You know, don't take them for granted, because a lot of people do that. I don't care if they were bad parents. Most of the time, if a parent was bad and didn't do right by treating you right, it was because of the parents she had that didn't treat her right. So she did the best she knew how and the best she could under the circumstances. You have to look at your mother and look at her mother and look at the background and see where they got their parenting and where they got their situation from. You know, if they were abusive, it's because they might have been in an abusive relationship, and so on and so on. So you have to forgive and realize you be the best you can towards your mother. Don't show hate and animosity toward her, because that's not helping the situation. That's not breaking the cycle or the chain of hostility and abuse and all that. You know, because I've seen it. I've seen people abuse their parents, verbally abuse them, and it's not good. Disrespecting your parents is not good. When they do the best they can to do for you, you should respect them and treat them with respect. Even if they mistreat you, you treat them with respect, because they are your parent. They are your elders. You treat them right, because look, the cycle continues. When you mistreat your parent, then your child mistreats you. When you get that age, it goes around, comes around. It will follow, and it will be a part of you. To cut that cycle is don't contribute to that. When your parent might have been, abusing or doing you like that, don't feed into it. Cut the cycle. Don't feed back and go into that and get caught up in that cycle. Cut the cycle right there. They might do that. That don't mean you have to do it. They did it. They didn't know no better. They old dog and started doing new tricks. So realize that, hey, you can stop, and you can be a good person, and speak good of people, and don't hold no animosity. Don't hold no grudges. Don't be mad at no one for how they act or what they do. If they do that, let them do it and let them get away with it and be whatever they want to be. But don't you fall into that hatefulness. If they're that way and they don't respect you for how you act, then just stay away. But you do, when it's your mother, you do be there for her and contribute and be there and say hello on Mother's Day or speak or whatever you have to do. If you don't get along with them, at least tell them you love them on Mother's Day. If you can't get along with them every other day, say that then. It means something to them, and it'll mean something to you because you see you did what you did. And try to get along with them all the time. But if they're so bad that you cannot get along with them, and they're steady putting you down or not appreciating nothing that you do, well, then sometimes you have to cut the cycle. You have to cut it off under those circumstances. But you don't not feed into their negativity as far as talking negative back to them. You don't do that. You don't get caught up in the negativity where they're talking negative to you and then you end up arguing with your mother. No, you don't do that. You just don't say nothing to it and let it go. And just stay away as much as you can. If you have to get along and see them on an occasional basis, whatever it takes to get along, you want to get along. You don't want to show hate. Even if you don't get along, you know you love them. So just show the positiveness and stay away. You understand me? And absence makes the heart grow fonder. So they will respect you and understand what you're doing. You're doing it for a reason. You're trying to be right, but you're doing what you're doing for a reason. You're trying to get along, and you're also illustrating this to demonstrate the goodness, because the kids, the grandkids, see, it's not just reflecting you and your mother. It's the grandkids. They follow through, and if you do that, and you guys are arguing, you and your mother are arguing, and it's a toxic relationship, then it graduates down to the kids. The grandkids, and then the cycle continues. The cycle continues on and on. You got to cut that cycle loose. You can't let it dribble down to the kids. The kids they go by what they see. You can tell them one thing, but they don't go by what you say. They go more by what they see you do. You can say a whole lot of things and tell a kid a lot of stuff. It don't mean nothing. They go by what you do. It's just like me when I was coming. My father told me all kind of things, what I should have did, what I should be. But I looked at what he did and how he acted, and and I went for the for the money. I went for what made me happy, what I needed to do. And this is what I'm saying. You're gonna do what you see people do more so than what they say. You know what I mean? That's why you have to walk the walk instead of just talking the talk. You tell people to do one thing, and you're doing something else, it ain't going to apply. They're going to be looking at what you're actually doing. The proof is in the pudding, as they always say. So you do these good things. You don't just tell people to do. You act a certain way. You say thank you. You say you're welcome. And then you show gratitude. You understand, man? Appreciation for things people do. If not, don't be around them. If it's going to be toxic and it's going to be animosity and hatred and arguing and fussing, don't indulge in that. Get away from it. Cut it off. Don't be around those people, because that is not good. It's better for the kids to be away from their people who they're with that they don't get along with. It's best for them not to be around them and see positiveness. It's best to see positive and to see negative, because they're going to do what as they see. And if you're not getting along with someone, then don't be around them. It don't make sense to be around people and you all in this fussing, arguing, and all this drama all the time. That does not help the kids to see you act like that. When they see you acting like that, it doesn't help them. You see, it's best to have peace of mind and happiness and illustrate and be the person that you say that you want them to be. Be that person. Be a good person. If you get drunk and you drink and you get drunk, don't do that because they're gonna drink and get drunk. They're gonna get beside themselves. Because that's how I got caught up in my drinking. My father used to drink, so I ended up following that footstep. You see, because I did what I seen him do, not what he said. You see, and that's what happens. I don't care what you preach to these kids and what you say to them. They're gonna model pattern after how you look and dress and act. If you sloppy and don't dress up and look bad, they're gonna do the same thing. And they're gonna say, well, why should I? When I seen them, they didn't dress, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. They want an example of the epitome of being the best they could be. And that's what's gonna reflect on their attitude and how they go out in the world and face other people. These are cussing all the time and all that type of stuff. That's not no good. But if you're cussing, then they gonna cuss. You can't tell them don't cuss and then you cussing. Every word come out your mouth is this and that. They're gonna do exactly what they see you do. And it starts from when they're 1 or 2 years old. It starts when they first, able to concept and see and think. And they're gonna follow you in that regards. And the things you do. You're very fortunate to have a child not be like you and see you be a certain way. Sometimes they be the opposite. You can be a certain way and they'll be the opposite just because they see what it does to you and they don't want it to do it to them. So sometimes like that, but that gene is in them. That gene is there. It's that gene in there. And the gene is there, so it's in there honestly. The gene falls if they're drinking or drugging or whatever they're doing. If it's in the blood, it's in the blood. They get it honestly. So for you, what you have to do is you have to disconnect yourself from all bad habits that you might have had when you were young. Show an improvement. You don't have to be that same person that you might have been, because just like me, for years I was drinking and getting high and being around the family at the parties and all that at the time. Now they see me come around and I'm responsible and I don't drink and I don't do drugs, and they see me, as an example of a respectable uncle. You see. I'm being the best I can be as far as I'm doing it not only for them, I'm just doing it because that's the way I believe in being, because I've grown, I've learned. You got to be better each and every day than you were the day before. As long as you're growing and you're not who you were before, then that's what counts. We all make mistakes. We all been in a bad place. The thing is getting out of that bad place and getting into a better place and staying in the race. Because if you do that, then you will be great. And that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? It's getting better every day, not staying in the same place. A lot of people stay in the same place. They don't believe in change. They don't believe in growing. They think that, you have to stay a certain way and be in a certain place, and it's not like that. You don't have to do that. You have the opportunity to grow and be great and do things, you understand what I'm saying, that brings you to that point, And that's how you should really look at it, as being in a place in life where you can be the best you can be, you know what I'm saying? Because being the best you can be is a good thing to do, as far as, like I said, for the family and the kids. But getting back to being honoring and respecting your mother, do that, because you only got one mother, and you have to remember, you understand me, that you have to show her all the respect. Not only on Mother's Day, but every day, all the time. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Like I said, I was taking my mother for granted until a girlfriend and brought it to my attention. But I'm always willing to grow and do better. I was always willing to do that in my life. I was never stuck on one position. If I didn't know something, I always was willing to learn and be a better person at that. I never say, this and that, or hold no grudge behind somebody or something that they don't like, You know what I'm saying? If they don't like who you're with, or whatever the circumstances is. Because a lot of times you don't like who somebody else is with, but you still love and cherish the people for who they are and what they are, and respect who they with and who they are. You respect that, because you got to look at the fact that they're living their life and you have to live your life. You have to look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I got aunts, I had uncles, that I've had, and they went. I loved them. They weren't the best. They lived like, they were doing their thing. They did the best they knew how to do for what they was doing at the time. And, I didn't know at the time, so I went along with a lot of stuff they went through until I knew better. You do better when you know better. So I didn't know better, so I did what I had to do. but you always be intriguing and be adventurous, and always want to learn and be smart and do something. Always want to grow. The main thing you got to do is you got to always want to grow, and you got to be willing to grow. Some people get old in their age, and they refuse to change in any kind of way. They want to stay the same because it worked for them, but it really didn't work. They went through situations with people. People didn't appreciate what they did, and they went through chaos and drama with the people, but they accepted it and they went on through their life with it. But that don't make it wrong. That don't make it right. You know what I mean? It's what you accepted to deal with. But me, I want to have the best life. I want to live the best life. Let me tell you like this: as good as I look, I want to live as good as I look. I want to live that good. So for me to live that good, I want everything that I do, everything I see, everything about me to be good. So you got to start off waking up, you know what I mean, in that frame of mind, thinking that way and feeling that way, and try to make it all day. You know what I mean? And that means not cussing, not speaking negative, not no thinking, talking bad about people, because it's contagious. If you do that and you be around those kind of people, and then when you get around family or when you get around your mother or people like that, if they have a tendency to be in that negativity, then all it does is spark off a plug, spark off some fire. If you go around them and you're being positive and speaking good talk, and you go around your mother and you speaking nothing but good things to her, she's going to reciprocate and speak good things back to you. You see, she will understand and accept that and love the fact that you're not feeding into no negativity. Or if you go over there and she's talking negative about some people, don't feed into the negativity. Don't go contributing to the cause. Speak good about, change the subject to something good. Get on a positive note. You know, speak of some good things. When you're thinking about memories, speak about good times. When you speak of occasions, don't speak about the negative when somebody did this or somebody did that. Or, some bad dog. That's gossip. That's rumors. People like to hear negative because it flourishes. What it does, when you get on that topic, it goes out like that, and it's hard to get back into a positive note. You know what I mean? Because people like to hear negative stuff. But don't get on that. Talk about something positive. However small it might be, however it might not be, is that much that they might have did that was good. But whatever it is that they did that was great, talk about that. Don't talk about the bad. Talk about the good. Think about it before you even go to see them. You know what I'm saying? When you go to see them, if you might have had a tendency to be arguing and fussing all the other times that you went over there, go over there this time with positive thoughts and positive energy. Think of all the great times you've had with them and all the good things that you did. Don't think of none of the bad. Think of all the good. And then when you get there, that's what you talk about. You talk about all the good times and all the good things, You know what I'm saying? Because when we speak on people that are not here with us, what do we say? We always speak about what we missed about them. So don't speak on what you miss about them when they're gone. Speak about things like that right now, what you can do and how you can enjoy the people that you love and that you're with, and your mother especially, right now when you can. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait till it's too late and then feel guilty about it because you didn't do it. I know a lot of people leave the world and then they have regrets because they didn't do their best to be with them and spend time with them and show them their love now while they're here. And that's what you need to do. You show them the love and you give them their appreciation and show them greatness now while they're here. You see, don't wait till it's too late, because if you wait till it's too late, it's only going to hurt you. It ain't going to hurt them. It's going to hurt you because you're going to feel bad about the fact you didn't iron things out when you could have. So show appreciation. Mother's Day is coming up in a few days. Try to, speak to your mother if you're not speaking to her. Get back on good terms with her. You know what I'm saying? Start off by telling her you love her and happy Mother's Day. And, show that gratitude. I don't care what she's done to you in the past or whatever it is. You can always make a difference. She didn't mean to do it. She did it. Whatever the reasons why she did it, if she on crack or she on drugs, you still tell her that, and it might make an impact on her. Because for her to be in that position, if she on drugs or if she drinking, it's because she ain't feeling good. So by you saying something good, positive to her, that might make a difference in her life. That'll make a difference in her day, if nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want to do. You want to be positive, and you'll feel good about doing that, you know. Because we have to show love, you know what I mean? We don't need to be caught up in doing negative, nothing negative, you know. It's not good, you know what I mean, to gossip and spread negativity to people, you know what I'm saying? If you have friends, you might not, you know, you might get along with them. If you don't get along with them and you eliminate them from your life because you did the best you could to be all right, well, you do that because you ain't going to let nobody walk over you. You have to be respected. So then you let them go. But what I'm saying is, if it's family, relative, somebody close like that, then you have to, you know, let things ride to a degree to where they're in your life for life. They're not going to go nowhere. So you love them from afar. If you have to love them from afar, you love them from afar. You don't have to be up under them. You don't have to be around them. But you know what I mean? You let them know you love them. You understand me? By steady being a part of their life. You know what I'm saying? If you see them on Facebook or you see them somewhere, you show love. You know what I mean? They may not want to show love to you, but you know they love you. They just may not like your position that you're in life right now or whatever the situation is. But if you're doing something that's positive, that's not negative, you keep doing what you're doing. And if they don't like it, then they just have to deal with it. But the point of it is, you got to be responsible for your life, what works for you. You can't have nobody control your life because they're living their life and you're living your life. But you let them know you love them. If it's your mother, on Mother's Day, you be there for them and speak for them. But you don't have to go along trying to live with them, trying to let them see your point of view in life, what you're doing or what you know. No, you ain't got to, you're a grown person. If you're over 18, you don't have to try to convince them to see who, say you got a mate. You don't have to try to convince them to approve of them liking your mate or, you know what I mean? Say you're a son and your mother don't like your wife. You ain't got to get along. You ain't got to bring your wife around your mother. You don't have to be, you know what I mean? You can see your mother and do what you got to do and keep your wife away from her. You know what I mean? And still, that's your mother. You keep your wife at home or whatever. Same with her mother. If her mother doesn't like you, you understand me? Then you let her go see her mother. You tell her, go see your mother on Mother's Day. Cool. You don't have to go over there and get involved. You ain't got to be involved in her family. If she's not, you know what I'm saying? That's how you get along with people. You don't try to get in them and then you guys clashing. And it's nothing but negativity. You know what I mean? They're not showing you respect. They're not, you know they don't love you. You know they don't care because they're not treating you right. Some things they don't do or they don't include you in. So you just stay away from them if you see it's not positive and they don't care for you. Learn to get away and stay away from negativity. You know what I mean? And go where it's positive and where it's healthy. You know what I mean? Just stay away from it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with staying away from people that's stealing your joy. Because if somebody is stealing your joy, is what I call it, stealing your joy. What I mean by stealing your joy is when you're around them, they're speaking negative, they're not giving you respect, or they're trying to tell you what you need to do in your life because they're not satisfied with the way you are now. They want to change you or say something that suggests that rather than you argue. And definitely don't just sit back and don't say nothing. You know what I mean? You might as well just don't come around them no more because you know you don't like what they said. So therefore, for you to say something, it would cause conflict. So what you do is you let them know how you feel and then just let them know you're not going to be around them. Because if they don't see things the way you see it, then we don't need to talk about that. We'll talk about something positive. If they don't want to do that, then you know they don't want to get along with you. And if they don't want to get along with you, you know what you do? You stay away from them. You don't have to be around people knowing they don't care or like you. I'm not going to get around them for 5 minutes. As soon as I know they don't like me or care for me, before they even get a chance to know me, I'm not going to be in their life. If I already know they're not no good and they're toxic and they're poison. Just like, say, for instance, if I got a mate and I know she got family members or people in her family, on her side family, and they don't treat her right, and I know they ain't going to treat me right, I don't want to get to know them. I don't have to get to know them. I'm with this woman. I'm not with the family. I don't care nothing about them. I'm caring for this one. And I don't care what they think about me because I'm loving me and mine. I'm not trying to love the whole family. See, that's how you got to realize when you get to a certain point, you can't satisfy everybody. Everybody's not going to love you. and you don't have to love everybody. So therefore, when you understand that, you be a good person. You be the best you can be for the ones that love you, because there's a lot of haters out there, and you got to realize that. You know what I mean? Don't overlook the haters, because if you overlook them, that's how they get next to you. You see? You know what I mean? You keep them by far. Know where they at, see them coming, and know how to keep them at a distance. You know what I'm saying? You have to do that. I say I'm extra sharp on that perception because I've dealt with so many of them. I got so many that I've dealt with in my life. You understand what I'm saying? Being a person that's exceptionally sharp, exceptionally smart, you're going to have that kind of problems with people. Because envy and jealousy is real. You know what I'm saying? When you shine, when your light shines bright, the brighter your light shines, the more the people are going to try to get in your life and interrupt your peace of mind. They want to interrupt your peace when you got something to interrupt. If they don't know, that's why I say sometimes you have to underplay. What I mean by underplay is don't share your joy, because somebody wants to tear your joy off. They want to tear your joy up. So you don't have to let everybody know. If they're not clapping with you when you win, then you don't have to be around them. You understand? You got to realize that. And that's why I constantly say these things, because these are things I know, and a lot of them not going to have to deal with people that I know are negative or not for me. They're against me. And then you ain't got to have a whole lot of material things. You can be sharp and know where you're at mentally. You can be sharp right here in your mind and be at peace and happiness and got a lot to say, and they'll hate you for that. So you got to realize it ain't always got to be you got to have a Rolls Royce or you got to have big diamonds. No, you ain't got to have none of that. They'll hate you just because your state of mind and the disposition and the peace of mind that you carry. You know what I mean? So realize that. And don't spread hate. Don't indulge in hate. Spread love, you understand me? And maintain and be for real and be assured about loving your mother. Regardless, unconditionally, you love your mother. Regardless how she acts or what she does, you love her. And don't feed into the negativity, all the things she might say about you or whatever. Because some mothers are loving, some mothers aren't, but they're yours. You didn't choose your mother. When you came to this world, you didn't choose your mother didn't choose you. So you have to deal with what you have and what you got. Don't be, disrespecting your mother and trying to love somebody else's mother. You know what I mean? You can love somebody else's mother, but don't forget your mother. You know what I'm saying? Because she's your mother. She's the one that brought you in the world. You understand what I'm saying? So remember who she is. Definitely remember your mother. Because, hey, Mother's Day is coming up, and we have to remember our mothers while we have our mothers here. Because your mothers ain't always going to be with you. You understand what I'm saying? So remember that. And I'm going to let you people know that that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? I speak the truth. I don't try to give you no fantasy. I speak reality. International Rare, for the record, Fashion Experience. This is International Rare Fashion Experience. Signing out. All right, y'all. Be good. Next show will be next week. And then the show after that will be, the 21st will be Beverly's show with Beverly, which would be about, the show with Beverly would be about getting it done in 2021. All right. Let's get it together. All right, y'all.